So this is 9.1, and it is systems of equations. Here we have a system, and so to determine whether or not a point is a system, plug it in. So if x is 8 and y is 3, if it checks in both, then it is a solution. If it doesn't check in just one of them, then it's not a solution. So negative 8 times 8 minus 5 times 3 would be a positive 64 and a negative 15. Oh, that's a positive 8, so it would be a negative 64. Minus 5 times 3. Yep, negative 64 minus 15, which is negative 79. So it checks in the first equation. So if it checks in the first equation, check it in the second. If it doesn't check in the first equation, then it is false. You don't even have to check the second. Okay, 6 times 8 minus 3 times 3. 6 times 8 is 48. 3 times 3 is 9. 48 minus 9 is 39. So it checks in the second equation also. So this one would be true. And again, if either equation doesn't check, then it's false. It has to be true in both to be true. Okay? So here we're looking at parallel lines. Parallel lines don't have a point of intersection. When lines are parallel, they do not cross, which means there is no solution to this system. So your two options here are going to be independent or dependent. And these lines are independent because they are two different lines. You would choose dependent if the lines overlap. And then this is consistent or inconsistent. I feel like it's been a long time since I've done these definitions, so let me make sure that I'm telling you the right thing. Okay. So that's what I thought. This system is inconsistent because it has no solutions. So it would be consistent if it had at least one solution. So this dependent lines overlap, and that means we have infinitely many solutions. Okay. I didn't realize you couldn't see what I was writing. So there are a couple of different possible combinations here. Let's talk about them. If you have independent and consistent, that means you have one solution. If you have dependent and consistent, that means you have infinitely many solutions. Overlapping lines. If you have independent and inconsistent, that means you have no solutions. And I don't think that there is, like, there's no such thing as dependent and consistent. It's not possible. Okay? So given the following equation, the solution to the system is, oh man, there's 100 ways to do this, but I'm going to use my calculator because I'm lazy. All right. So if you watched both videos today, then you should have gotten to matrices. So I'm going to use a matrix to solve these. to get to matrices, you press second and then this x to the -1 button, matrix. We're going to go over to edit. And essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to put in the coefficients. So this would be 2 by 3 because it has 2 rows and 3 columns. And it would be -30, 21, -8, 28, 50, -35, 1380. And then you just quit, second and mode to quit. That saves it. Then go back to matrix, over to math, and you're going to scroll down until you see RREF, not REF, RREF. And then go back to matrix and choose matrix. Oops, that's the wrong button. Choose matrix A, because A is where we just stored our matrix. So a few notes. If you get 1, 0, and then a number, 0, 1, and then a number, oops, that AB point is your solution. Solution. If you get 1 and then something and all zeros on the bottom, then you have no solutions. Nope. Then you have infinitely many solutions. If you get 1 and then a number and then a number and then 0, 0, 1 on the bottom, that means you have no solutions. I'm zoomed in all. There we go. So then you would put an infinity sign in here. And a solution where you have a system where you have infinitely many solutions means that the lines overlap. So your system is dependent and consistent. Okay. They want us to graph this one, so we just have to graph the lines. 3y equals 12x plus 6. When I add this 12y, now I'm going to divide everything by 3. 2, and a slope of 4. And obviously you're going to be doing this in more, so you only need 2 dots, and then it's going to draw the line for you. I'm going to subtract the 20x. And then divide everything by -5. Oof. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 like that. So these lines are really, really close together, but see how they have the same slope, but different y-intercepts? 2 lines that have the same slope are parallel. Parallel lines means you have no solutions. So D and E And then we said, so inconsistent, independent. Okay. I did the last one in the calculator because the numbers were vague and annoying. I'll do this one by hand. So if we multiply this top equation by 5, we can eliminate my x's. So that would be 5x minus 10y equals negative 80. Negative 5x minus 3y equals 2 still. And I did that so that I can combine these equations, because when I do now, my x's will cancel. And I'll have negative 13y equals negative 78. And then negative 78 divided by negative 13 is 6. And then once you have y, you plug it back in to get x. So if x minus 2y equals negative 16, then x minus 2 times 6 equals negative 16, since y equals 6. So when we add the 12, we'll have negative 4. So then my point of intersection here would be negative 4, 6. And so then these would be consistent, and independent. All right, it's saying that those 2 videos are published. So feel free to check when we're done with notes. I mean, if you really desperately wanted me to, I could solve that one by hand. I just don't want to. The numbers are big and ugly, and the calculator will do it for me.